Podcast number 44. So we've got sine of 2x is equal to 2/3. Find sine of x. So with this 2 in here, you cannot just divide both sides by 2 because this 2 is inside the sine function. About the only way you can change this is by using trig identities. And the trig identity that I'm going to use, believe it or not, is cosine of 2x is equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared of x. The reason for that is, with this part right here, I could do algebra and I could solve for sine of x. And then it just has x, it doesn't have 2x. But before I can even use this, I need to know what cosine of 2x equals. So what I could do is make a right triangle. This part right here is saying the angle is called 2x. So this is the angle 2x. And then sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite side is 2. The hypotenuse is 3. And then I don't know what this side is, so I'll just use the letter b. Then we could do the Pythagorean theorem. So b squared plus 2 squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. That leaves b squared plus 4 equals 9. And then subtract 4 from both sides. So b squared is equal to 5. And then take the square root of both sides. And technically we should put plus or minus the square root of 5. Since it doesn't say which quadrant it's in, then I don't know if I'm supposed to use the positive or the negative. I'm just going to leave it as plus minus. Okay, so then we could figure out what cosine is equal to. So cosine of 2x is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So that would be the b divided by 3. So plus or minus the square root of 5 divided by 3. Now take this and put it into this formula right here in place of cosine of 2x. So then we would have plus or minus the square root of 5 over 3 is equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared x. Now just do the algebra right here to solve for sine of x. So I could subtract 1 from both sides. And then the next thing to do is divide both sides by this negative 2. So eliminate this negative 2 right here. So divide by negative 2. And on this side, I would do that individually. Divide this one by negative 2 and divide this one by negative 2. So then on the left side, we would have plus or minus the square root of 5 over 6. So this negative right here will switch these. It'll switch the positive to negative and the negative to positive. So that really means you still have a positive and a negative. And then plus a half. And we're one step away. The last thing is take the square root. So then sine of x is equal to plus or minus the square root of the whole thing. That is a very interesting looking answer.